Hello, everyone. Wonderful to be back here with you this week and playing with another member of our Inner Goddess team. This week we are looking at Brigit, who is, or Brigid, or Brigancia. She had many different names depending on which Celtic country you were part of. And I've been immersed in her for the last couple days. Today is February 2nd, which is the ancient holy day, the ancient earth-centered holy day of Imbolc, which Imbolc. And I actually did a pretty comprehensive description about Imbolc and the Feast of Brigit, which falls on the same day 2 years ago in 2021. So I won't go into as much detail, but I will include the link for that in the description on YouTube. So I don't want to repeat myself, but there's so much to say about this very powerful fire festival. It was, I have a personal connection to it because I think it was probably the very first earth-centered festival in the Wheel of the Year that I ever did almost 30 years ago. And one of the things that we did in that very powerful ritual is very intimate, is that the woman who was leading it washed our feet. And if you, that sounds crazy, but that is actually a spiritual tradition in terms of cleansing and purification, which is one of the themes of Imbolc and of, hello, Barbara, and of the Feast of Brigit. And I took that a couple times into some of our Imbolc services, but the very intimate ones at Fourth Universalist Society, the UU Church, where I do my new moon circles. So it is a celebration of purification, of prophecy. No, no accident that today is Groundhog's Day. Groundhog is the latest rendition, where a bunch of white guys with top hats go chase after Puckatawny, I never say it right. Anyway, the groundhog to see if he sees his shadow, which all harkens back to what they did in the ancient times, which was to use animals, to see that the sheep were lactating, and that was a kind of a precursor. That was a heads up that spring was coming. So what I wanted to do, since I cover so much of this in this video, the same video for Imbolc Feast of Brigit from 2 years ago, I want to give you just some really sweet resources that I found or that I've done recently. I actually, just last night, was a guest on my dear friend Barbara Bijou's Instagram Live that she does every Wednesday. And we talked about Imbolc and Brigit. She and I, or Brigid, she and I have actually facilitated Feast of Brigid, Feast of Brigit celebrations together before. And so that was kind of fun. If you're an Instagram person, definitely check out her page, Barbara Bijou. Obviously, I'm doing this tonight. I also just published on the Wellness Universe my latest article in this new seasonal series that I've started there. And I will post a link for that on the description and on YouTube. You can get it really easily just by going to, by Googling the Wellness Universe, Deborah Roth Imbolc, and it'll pop up. So there's so much rich tradition and rich energy around this. And it is a wonderful time to initiate new projects. This is not the seed coming through, breaking through the earth. That's spring equinox. This is the seed vibrating underground, reminding us that spring is on its way. And so think about what seeds can did you plant in the fall that there might need a little bit of extra tending right now. Seeds metaphorically, also literally perhaps, because it is this moment of possibility of what's coming up. There's just this little shift in the air and in the light. It's light a little bit longer right now. So some of the other things I wanted to share with you. First, to give you an image, this is this little duty is called the Celtic cross, or the cross of Brigit, and it represents these big wheels, these big crosses that they would burn in bonfires this being a big fire ritual. And the idea was that it would ward off evil, hunger, destructive fire, even though this was a fire festival. I also, and because it's about divination, I wanted to highlight a few divinatory, little prophecy things, be our own little groundhogs. This is an image of a beautiful, and I just wrote about this in my newsletter that's going out later on tonight. This is from a wonderful deck called the Nature Mandala deck. And I pull one every day now, and they're actually extraordinary. See if I can get it close enough so you can see it. There are these beautiful mandalas, creations that this woman, Michelle, blanking out on her last name right now, that she does in Vermont, out of her Vermont home, where she just collects all these objects and puts them together into a beautiful image, photographs them, and then in a day or two they blow away. So they're quite wonderful. What other fun things did I want to show you about, tell you about? Oh, so this was kind of fun. In the spirit of divination, I found this wonderful site called Bridget's Grove. The woman who runs it is a Molly Remmer. I have to reach out to her personally. But she created these woman runes, which I've ordered. And again, I don't know how closely you can see, but within all the branches of this very divinely feminine tree is are rune symbols or objects. And the cards, they're not runes. Those of you that know about runes, they're not little wooden or brown thing, or round plaster things. I've got a couple of those too, but they're cards, and they're meant to really help you dive into your own intuition. Jung, the great psychologist, always actually believed in so many of these divination tools, because he felt, he was the one who coined the phrase synchronicity, that at any point in any moment in time, whatever question we ask is answered somewhere in the universe, whether it's through a card like this, or whether it's through the runes, or whether it's through my sweet little nature mandala. Oh, and I have to point out, she also gave all of her mandalas just through her intuition labels. This one is cleanse. How perfect is that for this day of purification? So using all of these is another way that we can connect to that synchronicity of the universe, asking questions and seeing what God, Goddess, the cosmos has to tell us about it. So I think those are, so definitely go look at the video from 2 years ago, and also a short one, like these are usually no longer than 12, 13 minutes max. And I'm not going to repeat everything here, but I invite you to sign up for my newsletter. Today's coming out, talks a little bit about Imbolc, but it's actually about the full moon that's coming up on Sunday. We're actually doing our full moon telemeditation on Monday. And you'll also see in the Brigid, Feast of Brigit, Imbolc celebration video that I did from 2 years ago, a really sweet chant to Brigit that I sang last night too on Barbara Bijou's Facebook or Instagram Live. So there's one that I'm going to close with, one that I've sung in my full moon meditations before, but never here, never on my Inner Goddess Team videos. And it feels perfect for this fire festival, where we want to look ahead, to look what possibilities, as spring just begins to tickle the earth and to come into our psyche and our consciousness. What are things that we can do? What are things that we can begin to commit to, as spring gets closer and closer? And this is a beautiful piece from Jason Shelton, I think his name was. Again, I will post this YouTube beautiful song, the full song, on the description, in the description on YouTube. But I'll sing just a little part of it because it talks about the fire of commitment and how that can burn away our fears and allow us to step into all that's ahead for us, all of the possibilities, all of the opportunities that we want to create for ourselves, this, through the springtide and beyond. So it goes like this. From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and souls ablaze, then our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way. When we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. And then there's just great music that goes with that. So it's not quite a chant. It's not something that we can sing over and over again and get into that magical vocal meditation chant place. But I really invite you to listen to the whole thing. I learned of the fire of commitment, of this beautiful song, through my UU church. I don't think it's exclusively a UU hymn, but I really invite you, just use today, use this energy of this fire festival of Imbolc, of this Feast of Brigit, to light your own fire of commitment deep within. And then with the full moon coming up in just a few days, expand that out to how you can change the world, how you can offer your own beautiful gifts to the world to make a difference. So thanks so much as always for being with me, and namaste. Have a beautiful, very early spring, tickles of spring as you celebrate Imbolc and the Feast of Brigit. Bye for now.